Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. I am your host, Elora Murray, and I am joined by essentially a co-host today, our associate producer extraordinaire, Emily Tatum.
So fun to be on this side of the mic.
I know. I'm so excited. And today is going to be super fun because Emily and I are essentially the theater girlies of the group.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I mean, you graduated in theater.
Yes, I did.
So you graduated from theater at the U, yes?
Mm-hmm. University of Utah BFA actor training program.
I love that. And I've done dance my whole life, and we can talk a little bit about this as we get into it. And I got into musical theater when I was in college. And I have so many friends in it. My husband's in it. And the theater community in Utah is so unique. We were like, you know what? I think it's time for a podcast.
Yes. We talk about it at our desks anyway, so
literally
might as well record.
Every single time I'm here, we have something to say about theater.
Yes.
Like, it is happening. So, I mean, let's start with you, Emily. How did you get into theater? How did you get started? We know you graduated. Tell us all the things.
Yes, yeah. So I'm pretty early career, but I found theater through dance, actually, which we have in common. I was a dancer my whole life, did ballet pretty seriously up until I was 18. And through that, I kind of fell in love with theater because my favorite part of the ballet stuff was when we got to perform. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, there's more to this. And so that's kind of how I discovered it. Totally fell in love with acting. And then COVID hit and I was like, wow, my life without the arts or theater is like so hard. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to live like that. So that's when I knew that this was going to be like my endeavor. Yeah. So I spent COVID auditioning for theater programs for college, a lot of Zoom calls, and thank goodness I landed at the University of Utah, the actor training program. I had the best 4 years. It was seriously like probably the most formative educational experience of my life. Graduated spring of 2025 and then just kind of jumped into doing theater around Utah. Obviously landed this amazing job here at Channel 2.
I mean, I am so grateful that you went to the U because now we have you as our amazing associate producer, social media queen extraordinaire.
I love it.
I'm so happy that you ended up here in Utah. And there you go.
There it is. Yeah.
We love it. I mean, and like you said, you and I both started with a dance background. I danced, for like 3 until I got into college. And when I got into college, I had an injury. Dance is just hard on the body. Yeah. It just is what it is. And I did drill when I was in high school, which in Utah, drill, that's a whole other podcast that I think Carrie and I are gonna do. I did ballet growing up, and then I did drill in high school. I got hurt doing that. And then when I got into college, I got double knee surgery. And I was like, you know what? Dancers already have an expiration date on them, which is so sad. And when I was in college, I was like, this injury is rough. Like, I can't dance the way, like, my body's not doing what I want it to do. And I had a whole bunch of roommates. I went to BYU. All of my roommates were MDTs, music, dance, theater majors. Yes. And they, in their major, they have to do something called a junior showcase, where they are the leads of a show, and then they have to cast the show. So they have to be the leads and cast the show. And they knew I was a dancer, and they were like, can you dance in these? And I found out that certain shows weren't as hard on my body as like actual like ballet or something, because some shows do have ballet and my body just couldn't do it. But I got into it through that and I was like, I love this. Like, it's not as hard on my knees because I'm not leaping and jumping as much. I mean, you still do some, obviously. Some shows are really dance heavy, and those are usually the only ones I do. But that's how I got into it. And then, I mean, growing up, my dad was one of the professional theaters here in Utah is Pioneer Theater Company. And my dad was president of the board for years.
Wow.
And so I grew up going there, and then I just got into that, and I just fell in love with it because I could still tell a story.
Yeah.
And I believe that everyone has a story to tell and everyone's story is worth telling. And that's essentially what theater is a way to tell meaningful stories, funny stories, everything in between. And so I got into that in college and just loved it. The injury was so hard on me, but that's what led me to musical theater and actually broadcast, because I was actually a dance major and I was like, I can't do this. I don't think my knees are going to make it. And so I shifted into theater and broadcast, and now here we are.
And thank goodness for that. Come on.
now here we are. And so, I mean, that's how we got into theater. But let's talk about like some of your, because you just directed.
I did.
You just directed Fiddler on the Roof. One of the biggest questions that theater people ask and that people outside of the theater world ask is like, what are the auditions like? So as a director, let's get your director's perspective.
Ooh, I love that.
Talk to us about, like, give us your best audition advice and maybe some experience you have not only as a director, but as a performer.
I love that. I mean, obviously, a lot of my training is acting. So I've spent a lot of my time auditioning or being the one on the other side of the table. Yeah. So getting this directing opportunity and like being able to cast a full show was amazing and so enlightening. Like, I feel like now when I audition for things as an actor, I have a wider perspective. The best audition advice I've ever gotten is from one of my first acting teachers. And he said, shoot to score. And I love that because I feel like it's so easy to kind of not be specific when you're auditioning, to just be like, oh, I'll kind of throw anything out there and like they'll just put me where they want me if they want me, like having that kind of be your attitude. But I think really zeroing in on like what you want to show the panel, and if there's a specific role, like really confidently gunning for it and then letting them decide. I just feel like I see so much, and I've done this too, is like people counting themselves out before they even hit submit on their audition, which is fascinating. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. You could be the one. They want you. So I think shooting to score is really the like kind of silver bullet there. And I noticed that a lot when I was casting, because the way we did it is our first round of auditions were self-tapes. So I was just watching like a ton of videos.
Right, which is actually interesting. Self-tapes weren't really a thing until COVID hit.
Yeah.
Because most of the theater I did was pre-COVID, and I didn't do one self-tape ever. You had to be in the room. So that has been a new thing, and there's positives and negatives to that, but that is a relatively new thing to the theater world.
Yeah. And for a lot of, at least for the way we casted this show, is how you get into the door. Like, once you get past that self-tape round, then we get to see you in person. And so you kind of have to sell yourself in like a really unique way. And I feel like what I learned from watching so many self-tapes, like, it's easy to kind of get into this like I don't know, repetitive, like just watching these clips of people singing, dancing, whatever. Being yourself and also knowing the purpose of that round. When I was casting, you know, like the sides that I picked, the character breakdowns that I put out there, it's all very intentional. Right. And I think it's really easy to see as an actor, like, oh, why am I doing this specific side? Yeah. Why is this the audition call?
Because that's what the director wants to see.
Like, you can tell a lot about what the director wants to see from what your audition materials are, if that makes sense. So that's what I learned from the self-tape thing. And I also learned how different people read in a self-tape versus in real life. Because then we got to in-person callbacks, and I was like, I don't recognize some of these people. Like, oh my gosh, they read so differently. And so I think presenting yourself as authentically as you can in the self-tape, so that when we see you in person, it's like, oh, I know this person. I remember them. That kind of thing.
I have a dear friend who is a choreographer and a director locally. And I remember I wanted to audition for a show, and I told her, I was like, I don't think I'm going to audition because I just have too many conflicts. And it was the simplest thing. She was like, well, the answer is always no if you don't try.
Exactly.
And I feel like that happens a lot with not just theater, in general. They're like, oh, that will never be mine. And so really, that's something that theater taught me that I use in my everyday life. Yes. The answer is always no if you don't try. And two, it's really nice to audition often, because then they see you, they know what you're good at, and they are like, oh, remember how she was at this audition? I bet she'd be great for this. And I think too, some advice that I have heard from dear friends who have directed, they're always like, you need to, this is like the simplest advice in the world, you need to read the audition notes.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
There is a reason why there is a page of information when it comes to auditions. You have to read everything, because sometimes there's like things in there like you need to send a monologue along with this, and you need to pay attention and actually focus on the type of song they want to hear from you. Like, if you are auditioning for, I don't know, Les Mis, and you're like singing a song from Legally Blonde, that's not going to work for them. Yeah. So you really need to pay attention to what they are wanting, because A, you know, they'll get a better view of, you know, a better idea of what you can do, and B, they know you take direction.
Yes, absolutely.
So that is like a really big thing. That was one of the things that I heard because, I mean, I'm going to be frank. That's what we do here. I am a dancer first. And so the worst part of any audition for me is singing.
And me too. Me too, girl.
I mean, I can stay on key and I am fine. I have like an okay voice, but like I'm not going to be like a leading lady.
Oh, me neither.
And so that's always the hardest thing for me. So whenever it comes out, the auditions come out, I always pay so much attention to what they want singing wise. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I get as much help as I can. And it's also, I know that's where my weakness is. And so that's what I need to work the most on. Mm-hmm. And it's just being aware enough to be like, oh, hey, I probably do need to work on that if I want this.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it is a craft. And just because you've done theater in the past or you've sung in the past, you still need to keep up with it because it's like anything else. It's a skill that needs to be consistently worked on.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like that's a great way to like keep the love for it alive. You know what I mean? If the only time you're doing theater is when you're actively in a show, you know, then you have this kind of like bummer off season where you're not doing anything. So like keeping up with those classes, practicing even, just it keeps the love alive too in a really cool way.
Well, and it's very much like it's so sad. I haven't danced in a while, which makes me sad. And I'm like, I know if I were to audition for a show, I need to get back into it. My husband is a singer first. He has an amazing voice. And he's always like, I have to take care of it. I have to take care of my voice like an athlete would take care of their body when I audition for something again. Yeah. Speaking of auditions, I have to ask you, because you grew up in California.
I did. Yes, Bay Area.
So talk to me about what it was like coming into the theater culture of Utah. Because, I mean, we have talented people in Utah. We have talented dancers. I mean, there's a reason why half the Dancing with the Stars cast is from Utah. We have Ballet West. We have these professional theaters. And then we have community theaters, which people oftentimes don't know they're community theaters because they have such professional productions. Absolutely. But for you coming into the Utah theater culture, I mean, community, what was that like and what have you noticed?
That's such a good question. Yeah, so I grew up in California, San Francisco area, so arts culture super vibrant. And when I chose to move to Utah, I was kind of like, it's going to be like farmland. Like I chose Utah before even visiting the state. So I did not know what to expect. And I was so pleasantly surprised when I came here. I feel like the arts culture out here is just like booming. Like I love it. And there's so much. There's always something to do, always something to see. And I love that about Utah, specifically Salt Lake City. But yeah, I was surprised at just how there's so many theaters and so many theaters producing just like really, really quality stuff. Like you were saying, it's community. Like people are doing it for free and they're performing at a level of excellence that's like insane. Like it's amazing. So I was surprised at how much of it there was. But with that, I think it was a lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of cutthroat out here.
It is so competitive. And I don't think, because I know lots of people who have, season tickets to theaters across the state, from the north to the south, who just go and watch and they're like, oh my gosh, it's always so amazing. And I'm like, because it is so competitive.
It is.
There was a recent show, and I had heard someone say that like they had like 500 video submissions for like one role. Like it is so competitive here. It is so competitive, and there are just people that have so much talent here. I think one of the biggest things, I have a dear friend who, she is like my soul sister. Aww. And she has been lead after lead at a local theater that just loves her. And I remember I was talking to her once because she's in a totally different phase than me. Like I will never be roles that she is. She was telling me that one of the things that changed the competition for her, and that kind of mindset of how competitive it can get, is she was like, I had to let go of the scarcity mindset. Yeah, they're only looking for 1, 2, 3 girls for this role. And if it's not mine, that doesn't mean that something else isn't.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes it helps you as a performer to let go of that scarcity mindset. And it also just makes you more enjoyable to be around.
Yes.
And I think, one, she is so talented, but 2, I think that helps with confidence to be like, if it's not this, then it's something else. But man, the competition here is...
Yeah, it's no joke. We've been joking about waiting for the documentary. Like, I'm ready for it.
It is like, and I mean, I'll just talk about some of my experiences because like I said, most of mine were pre-COVID. So you would go in and and this is basically for everyone who hasn't done theater. Theater kids are like, yeah, I know. Yeah. Pre-COVID, you'd go into a room You'd stand in front of the table with the production team, which is the director, the music director, the choreographer, some of the producers, and the people that were called at your time were also in the room. That's more of a community theater than a professional theater, because professional theaters don't do that. But we have so many amazing community theaters here. So you'd go in and you'd literally be performing in front of the people that were essentially your quote competition. And then if you made it past the singing, then you would get called back for what I was always called back for ensemble, because I'm a dancer first. And then you do all of your dancing with everyone you're competing against. And I was pretty used to that, because that's how dance is. But it was that initial singing, like competitive. Like I remember one time I was auditioning for a show and I got up and I sang, and I don't know, Emily, what sound came out of my mouth. It was like cats in a bag. It was so bad, and I knew it, and I was like, I can't save this. Like, I don't know what happened. And I sat down and I was like, this wouldn't have been as bad if everyone wasn't in here. I sat down and the girl next to me was like, oh, you're adorable. And I was like, okay, I know it was bad.
That's okay.
I don't need you to make me feel worse. But it's just that competitive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no joke. There's something so freeing about that, though, like really messing up an audition and being like, it's already out there. It's over.
And I think, honestly, that's one of the things I love and hate about videotapes.
Yeah.
Is because you can tape it once and you're like, oh, that wasn't good enough. And then you now have 7 tapes and you're like, are any of them good enough? And when you do it in person, it's like one and done. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's over.
Yes. And I feel like from the directing standpoint too, I don't mind seeing people mess up, because I like to see how they get out of it. You know what I mean? Like if you make a mistake in audition, like how do you work your way out of that? How do you save it? And I think that's how you can really separate like the super smart performers. You know what I mean? And those at the end of the day are the people you want to work with. The people who can make a mistake, because those are inevitable, and perform your way through it, you know? And with those self-tapes, it's just like you are getting what you would assume to be their best go.
Well, and I love that you said that, because live theater, there are things that go wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes the audience knows. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes it's technical stuff that is out of a performer's hands. But sometimes the audience doesn't know. Like, for example, I'm going to start laughing before I can even get through this.
I'm so excited.
I went and saw my niece perform. This was high school.
Okay.
And they were doing Addams Family. I went and saw her perform. And during the show, the teen who was playing Morticia was having some mic issues. And it just is what it is. It happens. And she was just pushing through it. And I was like, yes, girl, you keep going. You are doing your thing. Anyway, if you've ever seen Addams Family, there's a part in it where Morticia and Gomez do the tango. Well, Gomez came out, and this teenager was giving it his all. I am like applauding, and I like look at my husband. I'm like, man, they gave Gomez a solo. He had a cape and he flinging it around, and he was like doing his best and and I was just like, whoa, get it. Well, it turned out that one of the stage managers was like, let's change your mic, and they didn't change it fast enough. So she was supposed to be out there on stage with poor Gomez. So Gomez was supposed to be doing a duet.
Wait, yes. I love this.
But it turned into a solo. But because he was just giving it his all, I was like, this is an interesting choice.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I didn't know till they told me later. That is a kid who is so confident, who knows that it's live. I just got to roll with it.
Yeah, I love that.
And it was like, I was laughing so hard after, because he came out and they had told me what happened, my niece. And I was like, that is excellent.
Yes.
Excellent performing, because you just went with it. He could have just froze and been like, the audience, we could have just had like a 30-second silence and everyone would have been like, what's going on? But he was like, the show must go on.
Okay, I actually have such a similar story. I was just in She Kills Monsters, which is a great play. Great role, great play, loved it. But it's like a D&D adventure. And my character gets to the final fight. Lots of fight choreo in the show. Gets to the final fight. My character's fighting a 5-headed dragon, which was awesome. But the dragon that they made was this puppet. Cool puppet. It's like many feet in the air, and it's just me on stage, and I have this like sword and shield, and I'm fighting a puppet that's like feet away. Anyway, it's like supposed to be this awesome sequence. There's a cold spark machine raining sparks on me as I do this fight, and it looked really cool, but it was really scary.
I was gonna say, how did you not catch
it was
on
really
fire?
Scary. But it's opening night. My mom's in the audience. And we get to the fight. And the cold spark machine turns on when it's supposed to.
Right.
And then it does not turn off.
Yeah.
So there are just sparks raining down on me for like way longer than I was anticipating. It's going on for a long time.
You're like, it's getting a little hot in here.
I'm like looking off into the wings and kind of seeing people like run. And I'm like, okay, something's going wrong. And so I just kept repeating like fight choreo that I knew over and over again. And I was so scared. But I was like, well, if it's dangerous, someone will call hold. Like a stage manager will tell me to stop. So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, I have seen that many times, calling hold to keep actors
absolutely.
safe.
Safety first. So I was just like riffing this huge fight, and then just the best part is at the end my mom was like, wow, that fight was so long and epic, and I was like, girl, that machine was not turning off. Like the fight is not supposed to be that long. Well, so
and that's the whole point of what you were saying earlier, is if you do make a mistake, how do you come back from it? Because at the end of the day, performers are humans, and humans make mistakes. Obviously you rehearse and rehearse and rehearse to be on top of everything, but you just don't know what will happen in live theater.
And that's why it's the best. Like, that's why it's so fun.
That's why it's, because you don't know. And I just love it. And I love hearing my husband's stories about live theater. I love hearing my friends' stories, because bloopers happen. And that's why you do it. And it's so amazing. And the best is when the audience doesn't know, like your mom and like me. Gomez just doing his darndest.
And then you think it's an artistic choice and you're like, period.
We love that.
I love it.
We love that. So what is your favorite show you've ever been in?
Oh my gosh, I have a lot. I love Shakespeare. I'm a Shakespeare girl.
Okay.
So my two favorite shows, I was in The Tempest and As You Like It. And those are my two.
I love it.
What about you?
It's so hard. Because, like I said, I'm a dancer first.
Right.
So I always go for, like, those old Golden Age musicals.
Oh, yes.
That's so hard for me. I truly think that one of the most fun musicals I have ever done was Anything Goes. And it was because I had the utmost respect for my director and choreographer. I love that woman. She's been on the show before. I would walk to the edge of the earth for that woman.
I love it.
And I just loved that show, just because I don't think we do Golden Age that much anymore. And it was just so classic, and the audience just loved it.
Yeah.
Also another one that I really enjoy doing, which I wish I could do again, but I'm kind of aging out of being a high school student. I love West Side Story.
That choreo.
Because being a dancer, West Side Story, the dance literally moves the story along. Because there are lots of musicals where it's like, now dance.
Yeah.
But West Side Story, it's so integral to the plot is the dancing.
Yes.
And to be part of a musical that it's like the dancing is so needed is something that I just loved. And like I said, I would do West Side Story over and over again. And so we've talked about like the shows we've loved like to be in, and we've talked about, your Reign of Fire.
Yes.
Do you have any other like favorite flops or embarrassing stories when it comes to theater?
The only other one I can think of, and I don't know if I have enough time to give the full context, I was doing like a touring production of Peter Pan, and I was playing Tinkerbell.
Right.
And I did a whole show with a concussion. And I was like, I just got to get through. And this is where a show must go on is like, don't do it.
But I was going to say, there's the show must go on, and then there's
the show doesn't actually have to go on.
Let's keep you safe.
Yeah.
Because that is more important than the show going on.
Yeah. I thought I could do, and I did do it. I would never do it again. And it was like closing night. And afterwards, the whole team was like, oh, like, let's go out. Let's like celebrate closing. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I actually have plans. Ordered my Uber to the hospital.
Oh my gosh. Emily, all right. All of you performers out there.
Don't do this.
We need to make it clear again. I will repeat myself. There is the show must go on, and then there is no, we're holding due to actor safety.
Well, yes. To clarify, I did not get the concussion during the show.
Oh, okay.
But I went into it being like, I bet I could get through this.
Oh, Emily.
Don't do that. Advocate for yourself. And if you have a concussion, don't be Tinkerbell. It's okay.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
I mean, my most embarrassing story also has to do with the hospital.
Oh?
So I was in a production of Big Fish.
Love.
And I was in the ensemble, and before I went to rehearsal, I had worked out, and it was like this really hard workout. It was called Insanity. I think people still do it. I don't know. My knees can't do it anymore. And I did that, and I was going to be late for rehearsal, and I didn't drink anything. I didn't eat anything. We show up. It was music rehearsal. And I was standing there, and I could like feel myself swaying.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, I think I'll be okay. Maybe I should sit down. Because whenever I tell this story, people ask if I locked my knees. And I didn't.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there. Anyway, I'm like, oh, I'm swaying. And I remember hearing Red, White, and True. And then the next thing I knew, I was on the ground looking up. And I was like, what had happened? So we were singing and I had passed out. And we're friends now. I joke about this. I went to pass out and there was a guy there that could have caught me, but it scared him so bad. He moved out of the way. My face smashed into the piano. I hit the ground. They went to roll me over and I was like stiff as a board. And this was like the first show I've done at this community theater. And I came to and everyone was just staring at me. There was this one girl, I had a tooth pop out and she was like, I put your tooth in a bag labeled tooth. And I was like, thanks, what? Girl. I was like, everyone was staring at me. I didn't know what had happened. And because I was so rigid when they went to turn me over, it freaked them out. So they called an ambulance. So an ambulance came to get me. They had to put like one of the things around my neck, take me to the hospital. I ended up being okay. But like for the rest of the performance, like the rest of the run, I was the girl that smashed her head into the, not just my head, my face, I guess, like took the majority of the hit. And that was just like humiliating.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I did not perform that night. I did not finish learning the music.
And that's the right thing to do. Elora is an example of the right thing to do in a scenario like that.
Well, I mean,
eat.
You need to take care of yourself, even if you are late. Because that was the thing. Because it was one of the first. And like we said, it's so competitive here. It was a theater that I had wanted to do a show there forever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm running late. I'll eat and drink when I get there. And so I had food and stuff. But then I got there and I just forgot.
Oh, man.
So you've got to take care of yourself, performers.
Yes.
That is what we are saying.
Yes.
You've got to take care of yourself. Concussions, eating, and just taking care of yourself so these things don't happen.
Well, yes. And also swings and understudies exist for a reason.
Oh, and they talk about the hardest working people in theater.
Oh my God.
Swings. Like, and we'll explain it. So there are people who are listening to this who are theater people and people who aren't. So for the people who aren't, explain to them what a swing is.
So a swing is someone who is hired onto the production who learns multiple tracks being like different performers' roles, whether that be ensemble or principals. And they're basically on call for the roles that they learn throughout the entire run of the show. And so they could get a call day of. They could get a call mid-show and be like, you're on, babe. And they have to do one of the tracks that they've learned, and they have so much going on in their heads. If you've ever swung before, you know it's like
they are
every color highlighter imaginable, like script all marked up. Well, it's no joke.
And so many people we know, like famous theater performers that we know, started off as swings.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because if you can swing, like, I mean,
you can do anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we're wrapping this up, we're going to get to some fun things before we get to our rapid fire questions. Let's just kind of wrap this up. But like, honestly, it's hard to put into words, but what does theater mean to you?
Oh, it's hard to talk about this without getting emotional, but that's so theater person of me to just like cry all the time. I feel like theater has always, this is a Shakespeare quote, is like holding up a mirror, but I feel like theater has always held up a mirror to whatever's going on in my life, like whatever I need, whether it's like an escape from what's going on in my personal life or something to illuminate all the good going on. Like I feel like I can look back at productions I'm in and it's just like a beautiful kind of like bookmark of like what life looked like at that moment. And I love that. I wouldn't have it any other way. And it's just been like, it's given me, like you were saying earlier, so many real world like skills. Like the discipline I have as a theater artist is the thing that has given me success in so many other areas of my life. And I'm so thankful for that. And lastly, just like the community, the people I love most in this world, like the people that have come into my life are all artists or theater people. And I'm just so grateful for those connections. So it's kind of, it means everything to me. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to get too personal, but June was just a hard time for my family. And one of the people that were there for me the most were people I met through theater. I had one friend through theater who showed up at my house, flowers and baked goods, and I go to her for so many things. So theater has brought amazing people into my life. But like I said, I just grew up with the arts, and being a part of it is one thing. I haven't done it in a little bit, just being a mom and doing some other things, I don't have as much time. But there is nothing quite like sitting in a room and just being able to escape life for just a little bit.
Yeah.
and to see stories unfold, because stories are what connect us. That's literally like what podcasts are. It's stories. Stories are what connect us, and it's what makes us see, we have so much more in common than, we realize. And even the things we don't have in common, like we learn to deal with that. And I just think theater, like I said, there's the place for the really sad things, and then there's the place there's a place for those that you just go and you are just laughing and you leave and you're like, oh, I need that. Like I always used to, before I would ever go on for a show, I would always pray that whatever the audience, whatever they were there for, they would get, whether that was to get a break from life or to support someone they love, because really the arts do so much. It gives, it gives people confidence who are finding themselves on stage again after a long time. It's families going and watching it together and laughing or crying at a story that they've all loved growing up. It's memories. Like my cousin and I, growing up, we were 16 driving around Davis County singing Hairspray at the top of our lungs. Like it's so much to me. Yeah. It's all those things combined into one. And that's truly what theater means to me. Thank you all for joining us today. But before we wrap up, we're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Yes.
Because what we usually do when we end our podcast, we do a fresh 5 where we ask our guests 5 random questions to get to know them. Emily and I know each other pretty well, so these rapid fire questions are actually theater based. For those of you listening, answer in your head. I'd love to know your answers. Yes. So we'll just do every other one. I'll ask. Okay. What is your guilty pleasure musical?
Groundhog Day.
I didn't even know that was
it's
a musical.
Good. Hey, listen to Groundhog Day. It's so good.
See, I think mine would probably be Legally Blonde.
Okay, love. You can only be in one show for the rest of your life. What show are you in?
West Side Story.
Mine is Our Town.
Okay, fine. Perfect. Oh, that's coming out soon at a local theater here. Okay, matinee or evening? Evening.
Yeah. Play or musical?
Musical.
Play.
There we go. Favorite theater tradition?
I think bringing flowers is just like the most like sweet, touching. There's nothing like getting a little bouquet of flowers after a show.
Oh, I love
I think it's the cute. Like we do that. We bring flowers for each other. I just think that's so cute.
I always, I try to, whenever I have a friend that is in a leading role, I always try to find like a piece of jewelry or something that goes.
Oh my gosh.
That has something to do with that role that they've been working so hard to get.
I love
and so that's just something that I do for them.
Cute.
And it's fun for me to be like, ooh, what piece of jewelry goes with this role? But anyway, so.
I love.
Yep. All right.
So cute.
Here we go.
A book or movie that you could adapt into a musical.
Pride and Prejudice. Well, no. Pride and Prejudice is a play.
It is, but it's not a musical.
No. And I'm trying to think, oh my gosh. It could either be really good or just a disaster. I'm an ACOTAR girly.
Okay.
And that it would probably be best as a play, but there's so much fantasy in it. People could leave and be like, what in the world? And could totally ruin the books or make it even better.
Love. Okay.
So that's my answer.
Okay. I was going to say a play version of When Harry Met Sally. Do you know that movie?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the screenplay could transfer over to stage like really beautifully.
Oh, I love that.
So, let's make it happen.
Well, and I mean, in that vein, my favorite movie in the world is Sabrina with Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, yeah.
That could easily be a really good musical.
Yes. Beautiful costume.
Oh, yeah. Easy. I changed my mind to that because I'm afraid ACOTAR just, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. Okay. And then finally, any pre-show rituals.
Okay, I have a weird one. Waltz it. 45 seconds to a minute before every show.
I thought you said waltzing. And I was like, by yourself?
Let me work on my diction.
I'm like, if you were in the corner waltzing by yourself.
More power to you, girl.
You need that time. Then that is what you should do.
No. One of my first acting teachers when I was in high school had us do a wall sit before every show. I don't know why, but I do it before every show. And it's weird, and I don't know if it does anything, but
I love that.
Engages the muscles, I suppose.
I mean, back when I was younger, I was like, I don't need to stretch. And now now if I don't, I can't make it through the show. So it's not really a fun pre-show ritual, but your girl's got to take care of her body.
Yes.
And so that's something. I know some people have more interesting ones, but that's mine. So there you go. Well, everyone, theater people and non-theater people alike, we were so glad that you listened to this episode. We just love our listeners, and we just are so thrilled that you took time out of your day to hang out with us virtually.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, everyone. And please remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.